The lights of the studio gleamed against polished glass, cameras lined up like silent witnesses waiting for a moment that no one could predict. The stage was set for yet another episode of one of the most opinion-driven talk shows on British television, hosted by none other than Piers Morgan. Known for his unapologetic attitude and razor-sharp tongue, Piers had built his brand on confronting controversy head-on. But tonight, something felt different. The guest list carried a name that guaranteed attention, tension, and turbulence: Meghan Markle. The Duchess of Sussex, former actress, and one of the most polarizing figures in modern media. The air was thick with expectation even before she stepped in. Producers whispered last-minute directions, lighting technicians adjusted every angle, and the control room was buzzing with quiet warnings: keep the delay button ready. The cameras rolled. Piers leaned forward, his signature smirk hiding the fire behind his eyes. "Welcome to the show, Meghan," he began smoothly. Meghan smiled politely, her calm presence cutting through the heat. "Thank you, Piers," she replied, her tone graceful but guarded. The first few minutes were civil, small talk, light banter, the usual dance before the duel. Then came the question that sliced through the air like a blade. "So Meghan," Piers said, his tone shifting, "many people believe you've used your royal title to gain influence and fame, yet at the same time, you've criticized the institution that gave you that platform. Isn't that a bit contradictory?" The studio fell silent. Meghan's expression tightened just slightly, not anger, but precision. "I think people misunderstand what it means to speak out," she replied. "You can respect history while rejecting the parts that no longer serve humanity." The audience shifted. The tension was beginning to spark. Piers leaned in again, voice firmer now. "But you didn't just speak out, did you? You walked away. And some would say, you profited from that walkout." Meghan's composure cracked, barely, but enough for everyone to see. "Piers, I walked away from something that nearly destroyed me," she said quietly, her voice trembling with control. "And if using my voice means surviving, then yes, I'll speak." Inside the control room, a producer whispered, "We might need to cut soon." Piers wasn't finished. "So, no regrets? No acknowledgement that maybe, just maybe, you contributed to your own backlash?" At that moment, the conversation shifted from an interview to a verbal war. Meghan's calm gave way to conviction. "Regrets?" she repeated. "Yes, I regret underestimating how cruel people can be when they feel threatened by a woman who refuses to be silent." The audience gasped softly. Piers smiled coldly. "Threatened? Meghan, it's not about gender. It's about accountability. You wanted privacy, yet you signed deals with streaming platforms, wrote books, gave global interviews. How is that privacy?" Her eyes flashed. "Privacy doesn't mean silence," she said. "It means control. Control over what part of your life is public. You've made a career invading other people's control, haven't you?" That line struck deep. The studio went utterly still. The sound of cameras whirring was the only noise. Piers leaned back, visibly irritated now. "I'm not the one pretending to be a victim while living in a California mansion," he said. And then it happened, the moment that would go viral across every platform in hours. Meghan leaned forward, her voice unwavering. "You don't have to like me, Piers. But you don't get to dismiss my experience just because it doesn't fit your narrative. You were never invited into my life, you were just desperate to be a part of it." The crowd erupted. Gasps, whispers, a few uneasy laughs. Piers' face hardened, his patience was gone. "You're done here," he snapped. "If you can't take tough questions, you shouldn't be here at all." She stood up, fixing her jacket. "Maybe it's not the questions that are tough," she said calmly. "Maybe it's the truth." Without another glance, Meghan Markle walked off the set. The studio doors closed behind her, and the world watched one of television's most electric exits unfold in real time. Backstage, chaos reigned. Producers scrambled to cut to commercial, assistants tried to calm the host, and the audience sat frozen. Piers removed his earpiece, his voice echoing, "Unbelievable." Meanwhile, social media ignited. Within minutes, clips of the confrontation flooded Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Headlines flashed: Piers Morgan explodes at Meghan Markle, Meghan walks out mid-interview, TV chaos, who went too far? In the hours that followed, analysis shows picked apart every second. Experts debated whether it was journalism, bullying, or simply entertainment taken too far. Some called it justice. Others called it disgrace. But no one could deny, it was unforgettable. Luxury sedans rolled past the London skyline that night, carrying guests from television networks to late-night meetings. City lights shimmered across the glass, reflections of a media storm in motion. The hum of engines and soft leather interiors felt worlds away from the storm still brewing online. Power, image, and reputation, all expensive currencies in the modern world. The next morning, Piers appeared on camera again. Calm. Controlled. Or at least pretending to be. "People say I was harsh," he began. "But when you invite yourself into the public conversation, you can't pick and choose what parts people talk about." His monologue continued, weaving between justification and provocation. The truth? He knew exactly what he was doing. Controversy sells, and Piers Morgan was a master salesman. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Meghan remained silent, at least for now. Friends hinted she was shaken, while critics called it a performance. But behind the silence, a media strategy was unfolding. Every walkout has a sequel. In Los Angeles, her PR team gathered in a minimalist office space, screens glowing with charts and data. Engagement metrics, search spikes, sentiment analysis, all rising sharply. One of her advisors smiled, "It's going viral in your favor." Meghan exhaled slowly. "I didn't want this," she said softly. "I wanted to be heard." The irony hung in the air. In the age of spectacle, silence rarely tells your story. Luxury cars lined up outside studios again. One gleaming black Maybach idled quietly as executives stepped out, their phones buzzing with analytics. The story was dominating every feed, every headline. In the entertainment world, scandal is currency, and both Piers and Meghan had just become richer than ever. But beneath the noise, something deeper stirred. Viewers began debating the line between truth and humiliation. Between accountability and cruelty. Between journalism and judgment. Even critics who once dismissed Meghan began questioning whether the media had gone too far. Others doubled down, saying she manipulated sympathy with every tear. The conversation had escaped the studio and spilled into living rooms, workplaces, and dinner tables. Across the ocean, an editorial meeting at a global news network dissected the event. "We'll run a split-screen comparison," said one producer. Body language experts on one side, audience reactions on the other. In another corner of the digital world, creators uploaded videos titled, "Piers Morgan's Meltdown Explained," "Meghan Markle Speaks Her Truth," and "The Real Reason She Walked Out." Millions of views rolled in. Comments flooded, anger, empathy, amusement, debate. Back in the quiet of her California home, Meghan looked out over the hills, the sunset brushing gold against the horizon. "Did I do the right thing?" she asked quietly. Her husband placed a hand on her shoulder. "You did what you always said you'd do, you stood up for yourself." Far away, Piers reviewed the ratings from that night. Record-breaking numbers. Even the network executives couldn't ignore the success. Controversy had once again proven its power. Outside his studio, a silver Aston Martin glided to a stop. He stepped inside, his reflection ghosting against the tinted window. The city lights blurred into streaks of gold and red. Whatever anyone said about him, one thing was certain: Piers Morgan was never boring. For both of them, the clash was more than an argument.